Still ahead in the bulletin, Pediatric Society of Ghana calls on governments to expedite the procurement of childhood vaccines to avert any disasters.
We have a lot of people with illnesses that they are not even aware of. So this is something that can potentially affect the whole country, and we cannot sit and look on.
Meanwhile, the Health Minister, Ashaiman, is expected in Parliament today to answer questions on the shortage. Also coming up, State Boys Basic School, the once highly rated and most sought-after public institution in Kumasi, abandoned as students study in dilapidated structures. And later, City TV and City FM's Heritage Caravan enters day 4 as patrons are expected to visit the historical Paga Crocodile Pond. We'll bring you all that and more on the Citi Prime News.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Thanks for choosing us this hour. Let's start from here. Some armed military officers this morning besieged Ashaiman official town in the Greater Accra region and brutalized residents in what has been attributed to a reprisal. City News is learning the soldiers have arrested 72 persons and taken them to the military barracks. There's more in the following report.
Videos on social media captured terrified residents hiding in their homes as military helicopters and armored vehicles paraded the neighborhood. The armed officers were seen physically assaulting residents who dared to set out for work. Traumatized residents hid themselves at home for fear of their lives over the bizarre incident, which has been attributed to the alleged killing of an army officer in the area. Some of the residents have been speaking to City News.
What happened is that we gathered a military man, a young man was killed. I just saw the pictures, quite young. I don't know what led to the incident for him to have died. But there are some military men, in fact, a lot of them who arrived in the area somewhere around 2 a.m. And since 2 a.m., they have been on rampage. They will beat you when they set their eyes on you. They went knocking on doors. Once you come out, you receive slaps. So it's become some ways, and people cannot go out. Even the electoral people in the area, the assemblyman for Nima electoral area, sent some communiques around that people should be careful. Don't pass a particular area if you don't have anything to do there. And it's becoming very dangerous. Everyone is scared and they are hiding in their homes. If you're a boy, a young man, or whatever, you'll be beaten. Even if you're a woman and you dress in a certain way, you are a suspect to them, they will beat you up. So that's what's happening. A few of them are armed, but they are not using their arms on anyone. They're using their boots, their hands, and all that. Mostly, it's made people stay at home. People are not stepping out. And once people are not stepping out, food sales and all that is on hold until such a time when it eases, before they can start doing these things. Everybody, those who have even gone out, you can only go as far as in front of your house. Stay there and talk to your neighbor and go back inside. It's scary. In fact, my son's friend is supposed to come to him for them to learn, and he's been telling me to call the boy not to cross that place. I've not been able to get through to the boy's phone, and I'm scared myself, and praying that the boy will not step up out of his house to want to come here.
When I woke up, normally stores around the area would have been opened. I realized that most of them were still closed. I was thinking that it was still because of the rain. And then just as I got out, I saw some soldiers on the stretch. So usually, I would stand by the roadside to just see cars moving, but there was no car moving. Then I saw some soldiers approaching. I had to quickly run into our yard and lock the gate. Then I beckoned my brother, who is called Wise, to come and see. Then he was telling me that he woke up earlier and saw the soldiers beating other people. They also went in. So the whole area was scared. My mother owns a store by the roadside and should have opened a store by now. But as to speak, all stores are still closed. Cars passing, especially if you're a meal, they just drag you out, beat you, and then because I was watching across the wall. So any car passing, they stop you, especially Ashaiman, they drag it out, they beat you, and they say that people kill our how do you call it, our colleague, and those sort of stuff. Ashaiman official time is an area that is always buzzing. By 4, 5 people will be out going to work, people are doing their shop. But as we speak, stores across the stretch, virtually, if not for the soldiers, I would have said maybe it's got the rain. But virtually, the street is very, very quiet. Right from the official town tally station all the way to heading to Ashaiman New Town, the place is has turned to a ghost town.
Efforts to reach the military for response has not been fruitful.
That was a report on happenings in Ashaiman. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to a resident there. You're welcome to City News. Tell us what is happening in Ashaiman. Describe the incidents there for us.
I think the scare in Ashaiman is real. It's real. We had someone here in my neighborhood move into her shop. She drove hopefully thinking that the city was in, the military will be down, I think some few minutes ago. She got to a place where she said she saw too many military police officers around, so she had to return back to the house because there was too much. All the shops were closed. People were just scared to leave their houses.
Have you seen the armed military men? Are they still present in the community?
So we had more of the helicopters around. We could see them. They were just circling the neighborhood. And we saw some armed vehicles passing by, but we didn't have any confrontations from them. We were just passing by.
Right. And have you yourself been able to move out of your house to work or to do your normal daily activities?
No, I haven't been able to do anything like that. I haven't been able to do anything like that. The scare that they were taking men and boys with locks and earrings and stuff kind of scared me more, so I have to stay in my room.
And describe how residents are taking this. Are they still locked up in their room or are people going about their daily activities?
Everyone is actually locked up. No one is going to the market because they are more in the market than anywhere. No one is able to leave the neighborhood because they don't know what they are going to meet. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
Tell us about the assault of some of the residents there. We understand some residents were assaulted. Tell us about that.
So I received a call earlier in the morning about a friend who was in a neighbor was bitten for just coming out of his room to throw water away. So he lives in a compound house, and so he just woke up to just clean his room and throw water away so he can go to work. And he was bitten. He was thrown to the gutter. He was asked why he was stepping out of his room. What is his business? Outside his room, he should go inside. And so it became terrible. Nobody could step out. They were walking in the house. So more of the houses here are compound houses. So you come out and they're beaten, like they're just on the street beating you. And it's so scary. We had videos of people who couldn't move out of their room just to go and pee because it's done. They want to just step out and pee. They can't do that because that's too scary. Yeah.
But how's the area now? Has calm returned or are soldiers still present?
Calm has returned. The military presence has reduced, but we're here in the big part of Ashaiman, close to places where you can move out of Ashaiman. The roads are still being blocked by them. We don't know how true that is. But yeah, that's what we know so far.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. You heard a resident of Ashaiman who spoke to us on condition of anonymity. But we spoke to the MP for Ashaiman, Ernest Nogbe, earlier. Let's hear what he had to say.
I had a call this morning around 3:30 a.m. concerning the invasion of the military in my constituency and the brutalization and the prevention of residents from going about their normal duty. When I made the inquiries, I deduced from the briefing that it was as a result of a military man who was killed, I think, on Saturday. So this is a reprisal attack. And I condemn this act in no uncertain terms. Yes, in as much as I condemn the killing of the soldier, I will equally condemn this very act as well, because this is unlawful. The very person or the very people who committed the heinous crime on the military man might not be living in the community as at the time the military invaded the community. And to torment and prevent the residents from going about their normal duty is unlawful. And so I'm just calling on the military hierarchy to recall their men back to the barracks and allow the police to investigate, arrest the perpetrators of the heinous crime, bring them to book, and let the law take its course. But for the military to invade the community and then preventing and brutalizing, molesting innocent people is unacceptable. So many people have been brutalized. So many people were even prevented from going to work. So many were caned, and so many were asked to roll on the ground. I mean, it's unacceptable. And as we speak, almost over 72 people were arrested and taken to the barracks for interrogation. Yes, we know a crime has been committed. We know somebody was killed. And on no uncertain terms, we condemn that act. But two wrongs never make a right. We just have to allow the law to take its course. And that is the only way we can go. But when you come into the community to molest innocent people, then you are extending the problem to another level. And that is what I am against. That is what I'm calling for the military to call their men back to the barracks, so that these occurrences in the community will allow the residents to go about their duties freely without any hindrance. I just left Ashaiman, the very vicinity that the incident occurred. They were there before. They had left there before. I also left Ashaiman for Parliament, but I just had a call that military cars were trooping into the constituency once again, and we actually don't know exactly what they are looking for, because as early as this morning, a helicopter was hovering around the whole community. People were the whole residents were in fear and panic, and people were running helter-skelter for their lives, and which is not good for us. We all know Ashaiman is a volatile place, and so when matters of this nature come in, we need to tread cautiously and know how to handle these matters.
Ernest Nogbe is the MP for Ashaiman. Now, we do know that there have been reports of alleged brutality by some soldiers who are said to have stormed Ashaiman here in Accra midnight today, and this comes after their colleague was allegedly stabbed to death by unknown assailants in the area. Now, there are a lot of videos on social media of the young man, of some young men getting flogged, while a neighbor films from a window nearby. In other videos that we've seen, some residents were forced to roll on the ground in the muddy puddles of the early morning. Let's go over the phone lines and speak to the Director, Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Professor Kwesi Enin. Professor Enin, you're welcome to the Citi Prime News. Generally, we've seen the military react in this manner whenever an attack on their personnel happens. Why are they continually going ahead with some of these actions?
Well, I think it's personal indiscipline, a sense of hate, a need to demonstrate that they can punish those who have challenged the authority of the military. So I think there are quite a number of possible reasons. But irrespective of whatever reasons that people may have, I want to make two prefatory remarks. One, that all crimes are punishable by law. But in punishing those crimes, we cannot take the law into our own hands. Two, when a person is in uniform representing the state of Ghana, when you attack that person, irrespective of what reasons you have attacked the state of Ghana. The response mechanism from those who feel offended is that they just need to go to the police. You see, under the rule of law, it is the Ghana Police Service that is the frontline agency that ought to have undertaken the investigations, found the evidence, and then brought the culprits, if they were found, to a court of competent jurisdiction. I think it's unfortunate that friends of this young man who has unfortunately died have taken the law into their hands and brought the reputation of Ghana into disrepute. But I think the army will identify them and will discipline them appropriately.
Prof, what are the security implications of this and what should be done?
Well, I think it undermines the civil-military relations that have been improving slowly over time. And I think when the military of a state indiscriminately brutalizes people, then the anger is not only against the military, but it goes against the government and the state. And particularly in an unstable sub-region where we are based, that sense of frustration and anger can then be hijacked and then transformed into something else. So, I mean, such things should not happen. They are well trained enough not to take the law into their hands and to antagonize the people that they are supposed to protect.
Professor Enin, could any officers just go to Ashaiman without any command from higher officers and take military vehicles and helicopters to Ashaiman without the command of any higher officer?
I'm not sure. If that happened, then I think there's a much bigger problem of law and order and respecting the hierarchy. But it's also highly possible that the movement of those vehicles were supposed to recce identified possible culprits and not to take the law into their own hands. The extent of the logistics involved would need some permission up the chain of command. I mean, people just cannot walk to an air base, get into a helicopter, fly it off, and then move a couple of vehicles, go into a community and do what they did. So this will need some board of inquiry as to what happened, the chain of command, who issued what order, and the type of orders that were issued, and whether those orders were deliberately flouted because people were very upset. And then I think the disciplinary measures will then kick in. But what has happened is most unfortunate. And in terms of where we are, this is something that Ghana doesn't need right now.
Prof, this is clearly a abuse on people's rights. Should Parliament, or should there be a probe?
Well, I think Parliament has not over several years shown a capacity to get involved in these sensitive matters. If you remember, during the Adria case, they were almost silent during the war case. They were silent, and particularly during the war case, it was the defense minister who showed leadership and initiative and ensured that those who had brutalized innocent citizens were dealt with. So I suspect that there must be some emergency meeting going on right now. And I think possibly by the close of today, there will be some statement of some sort. But this must be handled with expediency because there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of unhappiness out there. Crimes are not accepted, and the unfortunate manner in which this young man was murdered, irrespective of whatever reason people had, those people must be identified and punished by a court of competent jurisdiction. And in flouting the rules of engagement, those military personnel who have also taken the law into their own hands must also be disciplined. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you for speaking to us, Professor Enin. You heard You heard me speak to Professor Kwesi Anim. He's the Director, Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Let's stay on the phone lines and speak to the MP for Ashaiman, Ernest Nogbe. Honorable, you're welcome to Citi Prime News. Do tell us the latest update from your constituency.
Well, as at the time I was leaving the constituency, where exactly the incident occurred, the military guys left the place. But as I got to Parliament just about some 15 minutes ago, I had a call that another batch of military guys are trooping into the constituency. And actually, I spoke with the police commander, and he told me on authority that yes, there are military guys still in the constituency, all over the constituency, molesting and then molesting the innocent residents. So that's the new update.
Can you confirm that 72 persons were picked up by the military and sent to their barracks?
Yes, exactly so. 72 persons. As at the briefing by the assembly member of the area, but as I speak with you, the police commander just told me that 72 persons being arrested is understatement, and that they were more than that, and still they are still arresting people when you go to certain areas of the community. What we are all looking at, we are handicapped about is the modus operandi, because you see armored cars, you see military vehicles, you see helicopters, which means that this thing has been sanctioned by the higher authorities. And so everybody is handicapped in this matter. So we are just calling on them to call back their men to the barracks, because these people that they are molesting, they are innocent people. They don't know anything. I'm not sure they know, most of them know anything about the killing of the military guy. And so when you continue engaging them in this manner, you are putting fear and panic into the residents in the community, and most of them may not be able to go out to do their daily activity as we speak now.
Have you heard or have you gotten in touch with the military command?
I called all their lines. None of them was able to respond to me. I called the CDS. He was not able to answer my call. I called the commander-in-chief at that is 1BN, Michel Camp. He was also unable to return my call. But fortunately, I was able to get the Deputy Defense Minister, who assured me that he will do everything possible within his power by contacting his boss so that the men will leave the constituency.
What steps are you going to take as MP for your constituents?
Well, I just presented a statement to the Speaker, urgent statement, and I'm hoping and praying that Speaker admits it so that I can make a statement on the floor and also call to the Speaker's attention to form a committee to probe into this invasion, because it is unwarranted, it is unnecessary, and it is unlawful on innocent civilians.
Thank you very much. You heard me speak to Ernest Nogbe. He is the MP for Ashaiman. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News. Still to come, Pediatric Society of Ghana calls on government to expedite the procurement of childhood vaccines to avert any disasters. Do stay.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Keys. What could be simpler than a key? Who doesn't have a key? A car key, an office key, a drawer key. But there's one key that rules them all. The house key. The key to a place we call home. The key to the home where everything comes together. The key to a home that is our own. A home where we make life happen with our families and loved ones. Adoha has been working hard for over 30 years to make home ownership within reach for many. Say yes to property with Adoha. Your dream home is one call away. Your dream home is a few clicks away. Visit our Accra project, The Place, by calling 030-2789-757.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. The Pediatric Society of Ghana is calling on the government to expedite the procurement of childhood vaccines, which has been in short supply in the country. Their comment comes in the wake of the worsening situation in the on the availability of the vaccines nationwide. An assurance by the Ghana Health Service of bringing the vaccines in 2 weeks has not materialized. Speaking on the City Breakfast Show, the newly elected president of the Pediatric Society of Ghana, Dr. Hilda Mantibia, says the continuous delay in bringing in the vaccines may cause an increase in measles infections.
Essentially, what it means is that they don't have protection. It means that all these illnesses for which they are not getting the vaccines for, they are very susceptible and can get those infections. Again, it also means that anybody that is connected to them, once your immunity has a problem or your immune system is not functioning well, you are also at risk. So all the grandmas, grandpas who are helping to care for these young ones at home, also very vulnerable, are at risk. People undergoing cancer treatment. So really, it's everybody. And we're looking at thousands or even millions of children and potentially everybody. You know, we have a lot of old people. We have a lot of people with illnesses that they are not even aware of. So this is something that can potentially affect the whole country. And we cannot sit and look on as if there's nothing happening.
That was the newly elected president of the Pediatric Society of Ghana, Dr. Hilda Mantibia. Now, the Minister of Health, Kudah Menu, is expected to brief Parliament on measures being taken to address the shortage of vaccines in the country today. This comes after the minister failed to appear before the House on March 1 over the worrying trend. Our parliamentary correspondent, Ni Ayikwe Okan, joins us over the phone lines to tell us more on this. Ni Ayikwe, has the minister shown up in Parliament?
And also, I can report that the Minister of Health is currently in Parliament, but then proceedings haven't started yet, so he's hanging around till proceedings begin, and then he can be called upon to answer questions pertaining to what exactly is being done to address the situation. That is the issue having to do with vaccine shortages in parts of the country. So he's currently in the House,
All right, Ayikwe, thank you. Keep on that beat for us, and we'll definitely update our listeners when there's more.
In other news, the Ghana Health Service has called on the government to, as a matter of urgency, put in measures to construct a proper health center to ensure doctors posted to the Wa East District accept their postings. This follows comments by the Wa East Director of Health, Dr. Kingsley Pascal Mwem, that the entire district has only one medical doctor attending to over 90,000 residents. According to the doctor, the situation is negatively affecting healthcare delivery in the area. Speaking on the City Breakfast Show, Dr. Mwem said doctors deployed to the area refuse postings due to the poor conditions within the district.
So we've gotten a few postings. When they are posted, they come, report, and then when they see the nature of the place, they go and they don't come back. So the recent posting was some 3 months ago when the Regional Director of Health Services in the Upper West region tried to convince one of the doctors to take up posting in the district. He reported, and unfortunately, he didn't come back.
So aren't there even like doctors from the area who you could lobby? I mean, because obviously the capital is Funsi. Wa East has prominent people who are educated. And there other routes you can use to even lobby citizens from Wa East to get their colleagues in? Because I'm sure there are people from that area in medicine all over the world, right? So I don't know. I mean, is it such a lost cause?
I wouldn't say it's such a lost cause because we've taken some moves. We have tried to sponsor a few of our staff to medical school, but these are long-term moves. When they will be done is a question that we are waiting to answer. We're still looking around. We're still trying to convince potential doctors. And I must say that with what you said, whether there are no doctors from that locality, in fact, there are doctors from that locality. The recent doctor that declined posting to that place is actually from the place where we wanted to station him.
The recent doctor that declined the posting is from the district?
It's from the district.
Are you serious?
Very serious.
Are the living conditions that bad? But is the district that deprived to the extent that a doctor cannot live there?
Well,
Bernard, I am a doctor and I'm living there, so I cannot say that the district is so much deprived. Yes, it's deprived in a way, but it's not totally deprived to the extent that we would say that a doctor cannot live there because I am living there.
Wa East Director of Health, Dr. Kingsley Pascal, responding to the concerns by the District Director of Health Services, the Upper West Regional Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Damian Pugunyiri, says the service can only post doctors to the area if government provides the needed basic amenities.
Currently, the facility where a doctor can effectively work there is not yet available. They have only health center. A health center has to be upgraded into a polyclinic. The district director, who is a medical officer, will have to work together with the district assembly to do that so that a doctor can comfortably be posted there. There's a need for a doctor's bungalow, which currently is still not available. So if we post a doctor there, the doctor is not going to have a place to stay and work, unless, of course, the community mobilizes and rent a place or renovate a place. And secondly, the facility to work in, there's a need for a theater space, there's a need for laboratory and a few other things where the doctor can work in. So that's the situation.
Upper West Regional Director of the Ghana Health Services, Dr. Damian Pugunyiri.
Now, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, says moves by the Electoral Commission to use the Ghana card as the sole document for registration onto the voters' register is aimed at disenfranchising NDC supporters in the party's strongholds. Mr. Mahama says the argument being advanced by the EC is unreasonable and must be rejected. The Commission is hoping to use the Ghana card as the only document to be used to get onto the voters' roll ahead of the 2024 election. Addressing NDC supporters in Ketu South as part of his flag bearership campaign tour in the Volta region, John Mahama says the NDC will resist the move.
Aveji and Co. are fighting in Parliament against a constitutional instrument that says that if you don't have Ghana card, you can't register. And you just can't understand the sense with which the EC are pushing this stubbornly. The point is, we are not against Ghana card. I myself have a Ghana card. And I came on TV and I encouraged all Ghanaians, including NDC members, to go for their Ghana cards. But the point is, NISA says they have no money. They have the cards in a warehouse, they can't pay and take. And even if they pay and take, they cannot go around and give everybody a card. You have to travel to the district capital to go and get a card. And I said, these are people who don't even understand the geography of Ghana. If you go to my constituency, Bole Bamboy, the farthest branch is 82 miles from the district capital. How much will it cost somebody to take a car, go to the district capital, do a Ghana card, and travel back? And the most frustrating thing is, sometimes you go, they capture your biometrics, then they say, oh, they can't print the card. So go back home, 82 miles, and come back after 2 weeks, 82 miles, to come and collect the card. It doesn't make any sense. Until a time when the majority of our people of voting age have Ghana cards, we must have another system that allows them to prove they are Ghanaians. If my child does not have a Ghana card, I have a Ghana card, my wife has a Ghana card, the child is our child. We cannot go and guarantee for our child that our child is a Ghanaian. Then what kind of people are you? Even the Ghana card itself, they allow guarantors. If you don't have a passport and a birth certificate, 2 people can guarantee for you who have Ghana card that you are a Ghanaian. So if Ghana card is using a guarantor system, how come voters register can't use a guarantor system?
You heard former President John Dramani Mahama.
The People's National Convention, PNC, wants President Akufo-Addo to update Ghanaians on Ghana's engagement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The PNC says government must be truthful on the current state of the economy. President Akufo-Addo will tomorrow address Parliament on the state of the nation. Speaking to City News ahead of the address, General Secretary of the PNC, Janet Nabila, says the economy must dominate the president's address.
The PNC will expect the president to touch on the IMF bailout. We would like to know whether we have succeeded or not, when our money is coming, and when we'll start running this country fully. We'll also be happy to hear the president come up with more measures to see how his government can prudently continue to manage resources in the country. The president asked ministers and some of his appointees to cut down on expenditure by using smaller cars and other things to run, so that the inflation rate can reduce and the pressure on our coffers can also reduce. We would like to hear whether this more prudent management of our resources can come out tomorrow, and how we can even get out of this economic downturn. We will be very, very happy to hear that. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. We would like the president to also touch on this affirmative action team that is always in Parliament, that we've been asking the president to, we've been asking Parliament of Ghana to pass. We would like to know where our affirmative action bill is and what is happening to it now.
Janet Nabila is General Secretary of the PNC.
Now, 10 persons who died in last Sunday's accident at Babatokuma near Kintampo in the Bunu East region have been identified and buried. 18 other persons who sustained various degrees in the gory accident have also been treated and discharged. More family members are trooping to Kintampo to identify their family members who died in the accident. A Kintampo-based journalist, Adams Wumpini, in an interview with Citi News, says family members who have not yet identified their relatives are anxious.
About 10 people have been buried so far, and then 2 people we understand have also been taken out to their community for burial, and then also 4 people are being prepared to be buried at the Kintampo cemetery here. The Muslim community is here to do some Islamic prayers on them before they are sent to the cemetery for burial. So at the cemetery here, that's what's currently happening.
That was Adams Wumpini, a journalist based in Kintampo.
Lawyers of dancehall artist Shatta Wale and his former manager Lawrence Nana Esiama Hansen, known as Bulldog, are engaged in negotiations for an out-of-court settlement over a defamation suit against Shatta Wale. Bulldog filed the suit after the artist on countless occasions made statements linking the plaintiff to the death of Fenwick Ochre, who was the manager for artist Kwao Kese. Bulldog previously had been arraigned for allegedly killing the late artist manager, but was discharged in 2017 when it was concluded that there was no evidence against him. The plaintiff, who is seeking, among other things, damages and a perpetual injunction restraining Shatta Wale from further publicizing defamatory statements against him, is yet to file his witness statement as a result of a request by Shatta Wale to settle the matter out of court. In court on Tuesday, lawyers for Bulldog asked for an adjournment to continue negotiations on the settlement. The court, presided over by Justice Joseph Edu Ajiman Owusu, adjourned the case to April 18 to allow for the negotiations.
Away from that, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana has described the Presidential Office Act 1993, Act 463, as unconstitutional, as it paves way for government to appoint unqualified persons to facilitate the work of the office. According to the association, the act, which mandates the recruitment of staff to work in the office of the president and vice president, breeds nepotism, which undermines the functions of the office. Speaking at a press conference in Accra today, the Executive Secretary for the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, Dr. Isaac Bampoado, called for nullification of the existing law.
We should immediately take steps to nullify the Presidential Office Act 1993 and revert to the use of public services to appoint and manage officers serving at the office of the President as required under the Constitution. Article 197 of the Constitution has adequately mandated and positioned the Public Services Commission to ensure that the necessary administrative, regulatory, managerial, institutional arrangements are put in place in the office of the President. It states that the Public Services Commission, decided to approve of the President, make regulations by constitutional instrument for the effective and efficient performance of its functions under this Constitution or any other law. The Public Services Commission should take steps to come out with a constitutional instrument to regulate the public services, including the office of the President.
You heard the Executive Secretary for the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, Dr. Isaac Bampo Ado. Now, 2 miners are reported dead after this morning's rain that also destroyed properties worth thousands of cedis at Babatokuma in Botiano, in the Botiano-Ingleshi Amanfro constituency. My colleague Calvis Tete is on the line to tell us more. Calvis, thanks for joining us. Tell us what exactly happened this morning.
Well, it's a sad situation here at Babatokuma in the Botiano-Ingleshi Amanfro constituency. This was after this morning's rain ravaged the community, killing 2 individuals, 2 teenagers. According to eyewitnesses, the teenagers were in the house with their parents when the rain started at dawn. So the mother, in a bid to move the children out, realized that the building had developed some crack as a result of the wind and all that. So the building started collapsing. So the mother, in a bid to carry the children out, rushed outside to call for help. And when she came back, the building had collapsed on the 2 teenagers. This was the same area. This is the same area where sometime last year another teenager died as a result of the rains. The rains from the toll booth section finds its way into the Babatokuma area. It's just behind the toll booth area. So when it rains, the rationing water finds its way into that community. These are some of the reasons why we're saying that the Kaswa toll booth stretch, that situation must be addressed. I have with me here the chairman of the Landlords Association in the community to help us better understand what happened here. Good afternoon, sir.
Fine afternoon, boss.
Tell us what exactly happened in this area.
It's just unfortunate. Thank you, Citi Radio, or Citi TV, for accepting our information. What we are seeing now is, for the past 15 to 20 years, we've not been experiencing these things. From the last 3-4 years, it is very terrible in this area. We need a very big storm drain to direct the water straight to the main road. If not, next time, you come and carry all of us over here. We've been speaking to the people all the time. Now, we've also realized that people have also built on the waterways. So, they've been, when they were selling the lands, at that time the place was there, they didn't any site plan, everything, they've also built. But when the place got choked, we now realize where the water should pass. It's creating problems. So fortunately, the MP, we are saying, is trying his possible best because he brought the Minister of Food and Highways here for 3 times, and he brought the Works and Housing Minister also in just like 3 weeks to come and take access of what is happening here. So we are hoping, they were saying that they have to come and construct a storm drain and everything in here. And unfortunately, this thing has happened to us. One woman losing, one family losing 2 children, 3 children. He has 3 children, losing the first and the second child.
Give us details about that incident.
What happened was the man, the wife, and 3 kids were staying in one room. But when it started raining, the man thought, no, the way it is raining, let me move my car upstairs so that the water doesn't affect it. So the man went and parked his car upstairs. Coming down back to his house or his room, he realized that the wall from the back of his house got broken, broke his wall, broke his room, and entered the room and slept. So the man just got there and the man saw the children being washed up by the rain. He tried rescuing them, but he himself got washed away. Wow. This is what happened.
Well, quite unfortunate. We also learned that, the Kaswa Tobu stretch, the rain that comes there, the rational water sometimes enters this community. What is the correlation?
It's not a correlation, it's the truth. It's the truth. From the top down to Atala, from the broadcasting top, the water comes from that side. So you can see the gravity, because that place is top, and we are down. So you can see the gravity of the rain that comes. So the water that comes all passes here, washes here, through Sunda, through Melcom, through Atala. So if you don't solve the problem here, nobody should make any excuse of going to repair anything at Atala. If you don't repair the top there, that is where the water comes from.
Okay. We know a similar incident occurred sometime last year. I hope you remember. Someone also got drowned here.
Calvis.
Yes.
Right. We'd have to end it here. Thank the landlord for us. And it's unfortunate that this incident has happened. They had me speak to Central Regional Correspondent Calvis Tete, who reported of 2 miners dead after this morning's rain. My colleague Caleb has more stories.
Now, a 4-week intensive training in agricultural machinery operations and maintenance has been held for young girls at Kasunya near Esuchari. The training program put together by Agro Kings Limited, a leading Ghanaian agricultural company in partnership with GIZ, forms part of efforts to equip Ghanaian women with employable skills. The second edition of the program has empowered beneficiaries with adequate soft skills training to build a holistic, value-driven and successful career in agriculture. The training program has also equipped them in drone piloting, task management, necessary knowledge and practical skills to manage, operate and maintain tractors and their related equipment. In an interview with Citi News on the sidelines of the training program, the GIZ representative in Ghana and head of the Sustainable Employment for Agribusiness, Dr. Elke Stumpf, indicated that the focus and emphasis is to improve the life of women in Ghana.
The focal areas of determined cooperation in Ghana are supporting the economic development, creating jobs and income together with the private sector. And one major area for this intervention are women. It's women empowerment. And this is the focus of determined development cooperation. So we're very happy that we can join hands with a female company like Agro Kings. So you see already there female empowerment. They can run companies, they can run enterprises. We see that everywhere in Ghana. And now with this kind of training course, we have another opportunity to empower women in a field like mechanization, tractor driving, drone applications. This is extremely exciting and will be further supported with German-Ghana cooperation, especially now with our much more gender-focused policy Germany is now pronouncing.
You heard the country representative of GIZ and head of Sustainable Employment for Agribusiness, Dr. Elke Stumpf.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM with me, Safo, and Caleb Kudah. Still ahead, Citi TV and Citi FM's Heritage Caravan enters day 4 as patrons visit the historical Paga Crocodile Pond. We'll bring you the details shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. The chief of Paga in the Upper East region has appealed to Citi TV and Citi FM to use its platform to push for the speedy reconstruction of the Burkina Faso border main gate. The border gate, which gives indication of an entry or exit out of Ghana, was pulled down years back to give it a facelift. However, years on, the border gate is yet to be worked on. The chief made the request during a courtesy call on him by patrons of the Heritage Caravan. Citi News' Kweku Ediama Ansa has more in this report.
We're halfway through the 2023 edition of the Heritage Caravan. Today we will be continuing with our journey, but then let me just do a recap of where we've been to so far. So we started our trip from the Greater Accra region to the Volta region. To be precise, we went to Amedope, where we used the canopy walkway. It was a very long hurdle for a lot of patrons, but hey, most of them, after the Thai rain walk, they say that it was still enjoyable for them. And so we moved from there and went to lodge at the Royal Senchi Hotel. Luxury is what you can use to describe what we saw there. Great food, great music, because it was topped up by the Kwampa musical band. And oh my gee, you know how they do it. Well, we moved from there and then had to come all the way south to the Ashanti region. That was where the Bonre art culture was ready for us to give us an experience. We were taught a number of things. We were thought about the kente, how we get it done, and even the types of kente we even have here in the country. And remember, that was sponsored by European Union in Ghana, and so it was a very great episode there. Well, from there, we also went to lodge at another hotel and had to continue our journey to the Upper East region. That was a long journey. Trust me, we had to spend 12 good hours on the bus, but hey, we had some stops on the road, and that is where people could ease themselves and also, free themselves even before we continue with our journey. Very great scene there. And finally, we got here at Bolga and we're welcomed by the chief of the community and his entourage. Today is the very nice day, and we're expected to go to the Paga Crocodile Pond, which we will be doing so very soon. But then even before we go, we have an exhibition for you, and this is because, when you get to Bolga, there are a number of things that you need to look forward to. One is the smoke. Let me speak to the executive director of the offshore event. He's one leading this front for us. I'm grateful for your time.
I'm grateful too.
So we see a lot of things here. The smoke is one thing that comes to mind anytime you come to this part of the country. I'm seeing a lot of them here. Just talk about the exhibition we're doing here briefly for us, and then we'll continue.
So this is called Bolga We Day exhibition. This is the second edition, and it's going to continue. There's a bigger fair that will be Bassa Fest, Bao Arts Foundation Street Art Festival. It will be a 2 weeks festival, probably somewhere next year onwards.
Let me get interactive with some of the Caravanites, some of them who have already gotten their things ready. So you got a heart here, and the bag?
The slippers, the carries.
Wow. Why did you go in for these?
Oh, because I actually like African stuff. So when I saw it, they were beautiful, so I decided to get it. And for these, they are very colorful, and it will match anything I wear. So.
And I must say that you're looking gorgeous in them.
Thank you.
Well, so we'll be heading to Paga, the crocodile pond. What are you expecting? Have you seen a crocodile before, a live one?
No, I've actually not been to the north before. So this caravan is actually good for me because it makes me see other parts of Ghana, which I've never been to. So this is my first time being in the north, and I'm loving it here. The weather is nice this morning. And I'm looking forward to the crocodile pond as well.
Have you seen a live one before?
No, I haven't.
Are you scared already?
Not really, but I'm expecting to see or touch one. Yes.
Are you sure you can touch it?
Yes, I can.
Are you not going to run away?
No, I'm not going to run away.
Okay. Well, so as part of the itinerary for today, the patrons of the Heritage Caravan are expected to pay a courtesy call off on the chief of Paga, and that happened. And the chief used the opportunity to call on Citi FM and Citi TV to use its platform to call for the reconstruction of the main border gate that moves or connects people from Ghana to Burkina Faso. He says that it's been long overdue for the reconstruction works to begin.
Use your good offices to take it up to all who matter to try to reconstruct the border main gate or the arch which used to contain the inscriptions "Bye-bye, safe journey," and on the opposite side, "Welcome to Ghana," with a huge black star on top of it. And it was like what we have in Accra, Independence Square. The arch was like that, the main gate. I must add that on this reconstruction, the French version should be added. It should also be translated into French so that when the French are entering, the French-speaking people are entering, they can also have a glimpse of what is written on it. The arch indeed was one of the sites that attracted most tourists. It was constructed by our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in the late 50s, but was recently pulled down to make way for a bigger one, but has since remained a mirage.
Fortunately, we came last year and it was the same thing which didn't look good. So we had actually promised to come and replace, I think 3 years ago, and COVID just, stepped in. So that's what slowed us down small. But we'll do our best as a media house to highlight all the issues that you have raised and make sure that the people whose duty it is to resolve this issue are made aware. We will also use our medium to complement the efforts and see what can be done, particularly that emblematic feature of the Welcome to Ghana thing that used to be there.
You heard Managing Director for Citi TV and Citi FM, Samuel Atamensa, ending that report filed by Citi News' Kweku Ediama Ansa. Kweku joins us over the phone lines. Kweku, tell us, where has the caravan reached? I'm sure you're at Paga now. What have you been up to? Tell us about the journey to the Paga Crocodile Pond.
Well, so Nashika, on the itinerary today, the caravan.
Kweku, it's Eno.
Yeah, hello, Nashika, I can hear you.
Go ahead, it's Eno.
Yeah, so I'm saying that we've currently visited the Paga Crocodile Pond. As I speak to you, that was done some few minutes back. And so a lot of patrons are excited about it because they were able to see live crocodiles. Some of them were able to master curry.
Kweku, we're struggling to hear you. If you can reposition yourself, we'd be very grateful.
Hi, Eno. Eno, if you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
Sure. So I'm saying that we visited the Paga Crocodile Pond already. This is the chief crocodile pond. So we understand there are two of them. This is the chief one, and that is what we visited already, where we have been told by the historians that we have not less than 200 crocodiles. These are live ones in this particular pond. But for patrons who were able to come around, they were able to take pictures with these crocodiles, and some of them were scared about it and were not able to even muster the courage to go and take the pictures. But for some, they were able to do that, and they're excited about it. Before that, we paid a courtesy call on the chief of Paga, who was raising some concerns about the ponds. He is calling for a facelift for some of these ponds here, and also even the Burkina Faso route. So from Ghana, if you want to use the border, it doesn't really have a very nice facelift. And so people, including the chief, has been calling on the rights authorities to, work on this to be done. And so we visited that, and currently, as I speak to you, we are on board our vehicles, and we're heading to Tamale, where later on in the day, that will be later about 6 p.m., we're expected to visit the Red Clay Arts Center. Also going to have a very great experience there. So now, that has been the situation here for the caravan. So we're moving now, as I speak to you. The three buses are all moving currently from Bolgatanga, and we'll be heading to the area where we know is Tamale, and we'll continue with our journey.
Thank you very much for that update, Kweku. You heard me speak to my colleague, Kweku Ediama Ansa, who is with the Heritage Caravan. Caleb has some more stories.
The British High Commission, on behalf of its partners, the American Embassy, has opened a joint multinational headquarters to coordinate affairs of Operation Flintlock, an exercise aimed at combating violent extremist organizations. Flintlock is a special annual exercise designed to strengthen the ability of key partner nations to collaborate across borders and provide security for its people while respecting human rights and building trust with civilian populations. Speaking to the media, Commander for the Joint Multinational Headquarters Flintlock 2023, Colonel Richard Mensah, indicated that 29 nations and approximately 1,300 personnel will participate in this year's operations.
Well, that's it for the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka here in Accra. I'm Inu Safo, and I was here with
Caleb Kudah.
For more news, log on to citynewsroom.com. Up next is the business news with Michael Okbodu. Thanks for tuning in.
Citi 97.3. More variety.